Chapter 2, Strange New World. You're in a state of shock after Skylar and Alexander, a werewolf and a vampire, fought off a shadowy entity that attacked you. We need to get her inside. She's staying at Greenwoods. Let's go. Before you can blink, they each have hold of one of your arms and are guiding you down the street with hardly any effort. You frantically dig in your heels, trying to stop them. Wait, what the hell was that thing? It was coming after me. You can't get the powerful, shadowy creature out of your head, nor can you forget the words your two protectors spoke to you. And what do you mean you're a werewolf and a vampire? Let me go. You struggle, but it's no use. Their grips are iron strong, and you have no choice but to keep moving. Don't fight. We're trying to protect you. Restless. We'll answer any questions you have as soon as you're somewhere safe, but first we need to get you out of the open. You reach your room at Greenwoods, but when you and Skylar walk in, Alexander hovers awkwardly in the hallway. Wait, don't tell me. Alexander heaves a weary sigh. I'm afraid it's true. I require an invitation to enter. If I wasn't sure he was an actual vampire before, well, you're invited in my room anytime. Alexander lets out a choked cough at the suggestion in your voice, but you have to admit, it makes you smug to affect a vampire like that. He regains himself, but his gaze seems a little brighter than before. What a strange and intriguing human you are. Please come in, Alexander. You step aside to let him in your room, and you don't know if you imagine it, but you feel the air seem to pulse as the vampire enters the space. Thank you. You hesitate a moment before shutting the door, your need to know what's going on outweighing your fear. You turn on your heel and cross your arms, trying to look braver than you feel. Okay, answers. Just start from the beginning. Well, you may have guessed Hidden Grove is different from other places. I guess you can call it a sort of haven for supernaturals. A shiver runs through you at his words. Is everyone in this town supernatural? No. Regulars who know the truth reside here as well. There is a veil that hides we supernatural's true form from the outsiders. Outsiders like me, and now I have seen through the veil, and I saw that you're a... Yes, I'm a vampire. I've been living in Hidden Grove for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years! You must have seen so much change in that time. Indeed, I have seen plenty of change. His eyes slide to Skylar. Not all for the better. Skylar clears his throat gruffly. For my part, I'm the alpha of the werewolf pack that lives outside of town. The alpha, huh? Are there a lot of other wolves like you here? Skylar breaks into a roguish smirk and winks at you. I happen to be one of a kind, but my pack is pretty sizable. We have to keep Hidden Grove safe, after all. You shake your head, still struggling to wrap your head around all you've learned. Peter downstairs, is he human, or... Faye. He's lived here for centuries, longer than Count Scowl-a-lot over here. Oh. I thought he was one or the other, but hey. Okay, wow. And that entity that attacked me, what the hell was that? No clue. All I know for certain is that it was supernatural, which explains why we could touch it, but you, a human, could not. So this means if that thing ever came back, I couldn't do anything. I'd have to count on these two to protect me. You grapple with the thought of having to put your safety in the hands of someone, anyone, besides yourself, and are surprised at the sense of relief you feel. I gotta admit, you seem to be taking this surprisingly well. I am more focused on getting answers. Is this shocking? Of course, but I want to learn more about what's happening to me. I need to. It all sounds impossible, but I believe you, knowing that the supernatural is real. You think about all the bad luck that's followed you. Feel like you've finally found the missing piece of a lifelong puzzle. Thank you for telling me and saving me. For now, all we can say is we've successfully succeeded temporarily. That thing might come back. If only we knew where it came from. I might have an idea. I think it might have followed me. I've had this bad luck all my life that seems to follow me wherever I go. Me and you both. Things go missing, nearby buildings burn down out of the blue, but it's never materialized into a physical form until now. That's kind of alarming. It is, but as I said, I will ensure your safety. Batboy's not alone on that. My pack, and I'll make sure you're safe. Hold on a second. You don't even know me. Why do you even want to protect me? Skylar's brow furrows like the mere thought of turning his back on you leaves a foul taste in his mouth. Protecting the people in Hidden Grove is my pack's job. You're here, and that means you're under my protection. Besides, I like what I've gotten to know about you so far. It'd be a shame not to get to know more. Alexander closed his throat, his dark gaze resting on you with an intensity that makes your breath quicken. If there is a dangerous and unusual supernatural in town, I intend to keep an eye on it. I am very particular about the types of people, humans and otherwise, I can stomach within the town's borders. You notice as they speak, Alexander and Skylar both protectively hover around you, like they can't keep away. They're both powerful, deadly, but whatever that puts me in danger can be used to my advantage remains to be seen. I appreciate you both looking out for me. I just don't know if I can fully trust you yet. I hardly know you. Then allow me to prove that I intend you no harm. As you watch, Alexander takes an item out of his pocket, a sizzle sounding out as the item comes into contact with his skin. Silver necklace, it's beautiful. And potentially deadly. Vampires are vulnerable to silver. Alexander tilts his hand, showing you the newly formed burn. I understand how difficult it must be to trust a vampire, but this gives you a means to defend yourself, though I don't intend for you to need it. It'd give you werewolf protection too. We're also vulnerable. And yet you are not the one offering her the silver, Wolf. Glowering, Skylar rummages in his pockets and pulls out a small vial. Mysterious vial. What is this? Wolfsbane, a werewolf's greatest weakness. Why are you carrying your weaknesses around with you? Seriously, he stomps across the room and snatches the necklace from Alexander, burning himself in the process before affixing the vial to it. Then, more calmly, he turns towards you. There. Now you have a way to protect yourself from whatever supernatural baddie comes your way. Protective necklace. You accept the necklace from Skylar and examine it, taking the fine links of silver chain and intricate pendant. This is so beautiful. You look at Alexander, looking for something in his hard-to-read gaze. This necklace... was it a gift for a lover? You see the subtlest quirk of an eyebrow in response. A lover, no. If I were going to give a gift to a lover, it would be much more extravagant. That said, it still holds sentimental value. The necklace belonged to my mother, back when I was still human. It's one of the only things I have left from that life. Oh, that's why you have it. Alexander's expression betrays the smallest hint of pain, the most emotion you've seen from him so far. Given how stoic he's been, it must be painful for him to remember that time. Thank you for giving it to me, Alexander. I'll keep it safe. You examine the wolfsbane vial next to turning to Skylar, who's been tertiary watching your exchange with Alexander. I gotta say I'm surprised that someone like you carries around the source of their own vulnerability in their pocket. Is this, pain kink thing? Seriously? I'm not one to judge what get someone off. No, it's not some pain kink thing. But I'll tell you what does get me off when Dracula isn't around, of course. Truth is, my pack's trustworthy. But there are some rogue werewolves out there. Not to mention other packs that think they're above the laws of our kind. As a serious expression overtakes his face, Skylar almost seems to transform into a more imposing presence. I like to keep some wolfbane on me, just in case one of those wolves happen upon my town. You look back at the necklace, so full of meaning for both of them, now in your possession. I could use some help putting it on. Skylar, give me a hand. If you can handle the silver, that is. Skylar's lips pull into a warm, smug smile, and he steps up to you. Oh, I can handle it. He takes the necklace from you with a generous brush of his fingers, hot against your skin. Instead of going behind you like you expected, he reaches around you from the front, his eyes never leaving yours. You breathe in his cologne as he pushes your hair out of the way, his knuckles skimming down your neck and raising the hairs on your nape. There we go. The pendant settles on your chest, and as Skylar straightens it out, the barely there touch against your breasts makes your nipples perk. Perfect. Alexander watches you both with slightly narrowed eyes, a great deal of scorn in the subtle expression. Still, he keeps his voice even as he comments, It looks good on you, Lila. I guess that's one thing we can both agree on. Thank you both. I feel better now. You are most welcome, Lila. It's the least we can do, but careful with that wolfsbane, alright? You toy with the pendant now around your neck, surprised to find you're feeling more comforted than you have in a long time. Alexander's eyes dart to the window. When you follow his gaze, you see the sky beginning to lighten on the horizon. Unfortunately, I must take my leave. Will you be alright without me, Lila? Oh, she'll be fine with me. Alexander's lips pull back to reveal a dangerous fangs, and you quickly step in. Actually, I think it's time for both of you to leave. I am exhausted and need some sleep. I'd like to be alone for that, thank you very much. Fine. But when you're up, come find me, okay? I don't want you wandering around alone. You agree and send them on their way, taking care to lock the door before flopping down on your bed. Exhausted, you drift off to sleep, thoughts swirling about this strange town and your family's place in it. Later that afternoon, you go to the address Skylar gave you as he was leaving, finding a normal enough house off the road a ways. Maybe going to a werewolf's house in the middle of the woods isn't the smartest idea, but there's a chance that someone in Skylar's pack might have known my grandmother. Just then you hear a snap. A gigantic shape darts out from behind a bush. Ah! But you barely stumble back when suddenly the wolf's body starts shifting. Limbs bend, turn into unnatural ways, fur starts to recede across the wolf's body. Blood running cold, you reach for your necklace and defensively hold the wolfsbane vial in front of you, unable to tear your eyes away from the transformation. Whoa. I didn't mean to freak you out that badly. And careful where you point that thing, okay? Where there was been a snarling massive wolf a second ago, now stands a gorgeous woman who lets out a loud laugh at your shocked expression. Sorry, I'm Grace. Skylar gave me the heads up that you were coming and knew about the wolf stuff, so I couldn't help myself. I guess I'll have to get used to this, huh? If I end up spending more time around here, I mean. You better. I know Skylar'd really like to hang out with you some more. There's more than a small dose of suggestion in her tone, but before you can reply, the sound of running feet reaches you. Damn it, Grace, tell me you didn't. Skylar comes running around the corner only to groan as he skids to a stop, even though Grace hasn't said anything. I heard what you were planning. I can't believe I didn't get here in time to stop you. Lila was never in any danger, and even if she was, it looks like she could handle herself. She nods to your necklace and an impressed smile on her face. Wait, you heard her? What? Are there more wolves in on this, waiting to jump out of the bushes at me, or? No, it's not like that. Werewolves can communicate telepathically, even with humans, if there's a strong enough bond. And with that segue, he coolly slides his hand into yours. Gray's giving you a knowing grin as Skylar leads you around the side of the building. Come on, I want to show you our home, sweet home. Ah, quaint. You enter a clearing between a community of buildings nestled in the trees. Immediately other people spot you and Skylar and hurry to greet you. Skylar, you're back. This must be Lila. Knew we'd be seeing you here. Rumor has it Skylar was all over you at the bar last night. Oh my god, look at us. We're being so rude. Lila, I'm Babe. This goofball's Monty. Don't take him too seriously, like, ever. Welcome to base. As we call it, it's the heart of our territory, and Skylar makes sure it's well taken care of. You note the way the two werewolves and others are coming out to observe and gaze differently at Skylar. Your terrorist story is still so close to town. Do you coexist with the other townspeople? Human or otherwise? Still getting used to the whole supernatural stuff, huh? We all live here on base, but we're in town all the time. We not only look out for our community, but are a real part of it. Suddenly, a studious-looking werewolf approaches, waving to Skylar. Skylar, I might have found something. He nods his head at you. I'm a hunter, the pack's record keeper. I've been doing research since Skylar alerted the pack to last night's attack. Oh, have you found out anything about what that entity was? Potentially. While digging, I came across a description of an extremely rare occurrence, said to be a myth, where an entity latches onto an individual and feeds off their luck. Lila, that's exactly what you describe. As protectors of this town, our pack keeps detailed records of the supernatural happenings in Hidden Grove. Hunter retrieves a scrap of paper from his pocket and hands it to you. I've compiled a list of townspeople who have had encounters with similars of yours over the course of Hidden Grove's history. List of names. Some of these look familiar. Peter Greenwood's on the list, and then there is Bernice Griffin and my grandmother. You grip the paper tighter as the name jumps out at you, a direct connection to your family's past. I knew she had been in this town before, and here's proof she dealt with this entity too. Your heart pounds at the thought of being closer to answers about your history than you've ever been. If you'd like, I can pull your grandmother's file for you to review, under Skylar's supervision, of course. Pack rules regarding outsiders. It sounds like a big break. You might find some big answers in that file, though. You and Skylar follow Hunter in one of the buildings, where the latter pulls open a storage case and rummages for a bit before pulling out a file. Wow, there's a lot in there. Take as much time as you'd like. Skylar will be able to put things away for you when you're done. He hands you the file and leaves you with Skylar. Heavy silence descends on you as you weigh the hefty file in your hands. You ready to take a look? Yeah, but I don't know if I'm ready for what I'll find. How is there so much I didn't know about my grandmother? You take a seat at the table and feel a swell of comfort as Skylar sits beside you, pulling his chair close enough that you're shoulder to shoulder. You flip to the first of many pages and are surprised by the official-looking document filled with technical jargon. Skylar, any idea what this is? Looks like the minutes from a pack meeting. He leans over, his whole arm pressed yours as he skims a finger down the page. This was before my time. The leaders were discussing a series of unfortunate events happening around the town. Unexpected storms causing weather damage, random freak injuries. Oh my god, a second-story floor just falling through? And this pack member, Lucy Daniels, says that this all began after a new person came to town. He flips the page and you read the name aloud, though you already know what to expect. Bernice Griffin. Your stomach twists. Skylar's warm hand rests comfortingly on your shoulder. I knew I felt a connection with this town. I didn't expect it to be something like this, though. Hey, I bet you anything that what you're feeling was a connection to me. You give Skylar a playful smack on his shoulder, feeling slightly cheered by his flirtations. Skylar turns to the next page, lips pursed into a frown. It looks like the pack put your grandmother on trial. On trial? I didn't even know werewolves held trials. They do in the case of someone breaking the treaty our pack is governed by, or when an outsider has proven themselves to be a threat. You take the record from his hand, skimming it as quickly as you can. Oh my god, it sounds like the longer she was in town, the worse the freak events became. Here's the verdict. We, the pack, have ruled that Bernice Griffin must leave Hidden Grove to maintain the safety of its residents. The pack ran her out of town? It looks like it. They thought she posed too much a risk to the people of Hidden Grove. What if I'm like my grandmother? What if me being here just brings danger and destruction? You feel Skylar watching you, brows furrowed, trying to read the meaning behind the expression on your face. Hey, what are you thinking? I'm just worried I'm getting a sneak peek at my future. Tired of keeping your fears to yourself, the truth of all but pours out of you. Enough bad things start happening around here, and the residents will be kicking me out too. It's not going to be your future, not if I have anything to say about it. And as the pack alpha, my say matters. You feel sick at the thought of having to leave the place already, but even sicker thinking about someone getting hurt because of you. I should probably just leave town, just in case. No, absolutely not. But if I'm anything like... You go silent as Skylar takes your jaw, his grip gentle but sure, and brings your gaze to his. You're jumping to conclusions. We have some more information, but we have no solid answers. And besides, you just got attacked last night. I'm not sending you away alone. And I'm sure as hell not letting you sneak away. Skylar... His fingers skim against your jaw as he lets you go. But his voice is low, luring, and you feel the urge to lean in. You're staying in Hidden Grove. I'll admit I'm tempted. I gotta leave when I have a big, strong werewolf to keep me safe. Grinning, he props an elbow on the table for the excuse to not so subtly flex his bicep. You've got nothing to worry about, babe. You can't help but reach out and feel the muscle, the strength of him sending a thrill in through you. I don't know, I think there might be a diamond or two out there that are more solid. Maybe, but you haven't felt my abs yet. But seriously, I don't make promises lightly, so I mean it when I say I'll keep you safe, no matter what it takes. You sigh, glancing back at the file. You're right. It's too early for me to go anywhere, so I guess you'll just have to keep an eye on me for a while longer. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Skylar's entire body relax, chest feeling warm. You reach out over and give his hand a quick squeeze. But questions still plague you. Questions that make your veins turn to ice. I just wonder, how did all this start? If the entity really is bad luck entity following me, and the same one followed my grandmother, why us? It looks like they brought your grandmother in to tell her the ruling. There's a record of her statements. You both read through the document and peer closer when you come across something odd. Look at what she said here. I would know more if I could speak to my mother. It sounds like whatever this is might have started with my great-grandmother? Maybe. I think Hunter would have noticed if there was a file on her, though. Either way, it's looking like my family's tied into it. Well, something that's going on here. That's all the more reason for me to stay. And all the more reason to trust my safety to Skylar and Alexander. Even if trusting myself to anyone is way outside of what I'm used to doing. Skylar, I'm grateful you have my back. You made me feel safe, and that says a lot considering what happened last night. Still holding your hand, Skylar laces his fingers with yours, the sensation making you feel even more cared for. Hey, I got you. Huh. That wasn't hard to admit to him. I guess it could be nice to depend on someone else sometimes. You close your grandmother's file, and as Skylar places it back into the case, you feel like you've been left with even more questions. But at least I feel closer to finding real answers about my bad luck than I ever have before. As you step back outside, another werewolf strides over. Contentiousness serious. Skylar, we got a problem. Briggs hasn't been budging, not even after the lightest nudge. The shift is palpable. Skylar releases your hand and seems to stand taller, voice growing, clipped as he takes on the role of alpha in command. Oh, this has been going on long enough. I think it's time for an intervention. Rowan, do you know where he is right now? As Rowan's gaze goes sideways for a moment, as though he's listening to something or someone. He's speaking telepathically? Grace has him pinpointed at Shakers. Let's go. Lila, you're about to see some justice in action. You join Skylar and a few pack members as they head back into town, where they meet up with Grace outside a seedy-looking club. Wait, what's even going on? Who's this Briggs guy, and is this about to be dangerous? Briggs is a real piece of work. Pockets overflowing, but he's been missing his child support payments for months. The child's supernatural, and the support money is essentially for keeping their identity under wraps to visiting humans. Which means we're not about to let this slide any longer. Lila, stay back while we take care of this. Skylar strides into the club, Grace and Rowan on his heels. You follow several paces behind, gaze riveted on Skylar's commanding form. Hey, Briggs. Sounds like you and I need to have a little chat. Grabs a man flinging money at a scantily clad dancer by the shoulder and spins him roughly around, grabbing him by the front of his unbuttoned shirt and pulling him close. If you don't even stop pretending to act like a halfway decent human and pay those child support bills, you'll have a pack of wolves on your doorstep. Skylar's eyes flash golden, his bicep flexing as he tightens his grip on Briggs's shirt. And we like to play with our food before we kill it. Okay, I'll make the payments, just let me go. 24 hours, Briggs. We'll know if you haven't caught up on your payments by then. Back outside, Grace and Rowan head off, leaving you with Skylar, whose jaw is still clenched tightly. What you did in there? That was sexy. He blinks, most of the storm receding from his face and turning into a smirk. Yeah? You're tough and you look out for kids. I'm starting to think there's more to you than meets the eye. Is he a transformer? Robots in disguise! She says, shut up. He suddenly loops an arm around your waist, pulling you to him, your palms landing flat on the planes of his chest. I can't wait to show you all of the sides of me. Down, boy. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Skylar leads you back to the B&B. You replay what you saw in the Scott Club again and again. Skylar's ferocity, his command. He was so magnetic. More than that, he's a force to be reckoned with. I can use that to keep myself safe for sure. You return to your room to find a piece of stationery placed on your pillow. It contains a note in elegant looping script. Yes, we call that cursive. Looks like an invite from Alexander. I request the pleasure of your company for dinner at my home. 8 o'clock this evening, yours sincerely, A. Hyde. Holding the note, apprehension at being alone in a castle with a vampire washes over you, but then a thought strikes. Alexander has been around for centuries. He could have known my grandmother when she lived in Hidden Grove. Maybe if I go to dinner, I can learn more about what's going on. You arrive at the castle right as the sun finishes setting, craning your head back to take in the magnificent facade. All is eerily silent. You accepted my invitation. Oh my god. You nearly jump out of your skin and whirl around to find Alexander right behind you. For his part, he simply lifts an eyebrow at your reaction. You nearly gave me a heart attack. Why'd you sneak up behind me? I did no such thing. I just happened to be light on my feet. Please, come in. Wondering if your judgment is flawed, you find yourself following Alexander into a long hallway, the decor dated, but nonetheless stunning. This place is incredible. You really live here alone? Yes. It's better for everyone that way. But aren't you lonely? I'm quite used to being on my own. He pauses suddenly, then casts you a look over his shoulder, his heated gaze sending a thrum of desire through you. Though I'll admit that I'm looking forward to having someone to share dinner with. He resumes walking, leading you into an elaborate dining room where a fancy, mouth-watering meal awaits you on the table. Venison steak looks delicious. You did all this for me? In answer, he pulls out your chair for you. You hesitate and then cross over to it, sitting and letting him lay a silk napkin over your lap. You watch as he crosses to the other side of the table and sits opposite you, where you realize there's only a single chalice of dark liquid. Dark, mysterious liquid, is that? You think you might hear the softest chuckle as he lifts the cup by the stem, raising it part way to his lips. It is. You take a steady breath, making sure you can speak and even as a voice as possible. Whose is it? I don't drink from humans. If that's what you're wondering. I never have. Only animals. He lifts the cup with the rest of the way to his lips, and you watch his throat bob as he takes a deep sip. Is the temptation there, though? He stills for a heartbeat and then lowers the cup, tongue tracing away the sheen of blood on his upper lip. His eyes don't leave yours. It is. His voice is like silk, so smooth you can practically feel it sink into you. Your entire body is hot, your voice is distant to your own ears. What about my blood? Is it tempting? It is the most tempting blood I've ever smelled. Your heart skips a beat, though whether in fear or excitement, or some twisted mix of the two, you don't know. Now's my chance to ask him about my grandmother. Alexander, does the name Bernice Griffin mean anything to you? Griffin. A relative of yours? My grandmother. Apparently she lived in Hidden Grove in the 60s. Alexander's eyes glaze over for a moment as though he's scanning through the centuries of names in an internal Rolodex. I'm sorry. Aside from this connection to you, I cannot say there's any familiarity to that name. A pang of disappointment fills you at his response. So you don't know her at all? I did not. I'm certain in recent decades I haven't been the most sociable. The admission of loneliness looks like it pains him. Haven't you ever been involved with a human? Struck by the burst of boldness, you lean forward and bat your eyelashes. I imagine that being with a vampire is a whole new experience for a human lucky enough to get the chance. It was the wrong thing to say. He gets abruptly to his feet, his entire contentious more closed than you've ever seen it. I believe it's best if we called it a night. It's been a hectic couple of days for you, so I'm sure you could use a good night's sleep. Oh, yeah, I'll just head home. Didn't you invite her here for dinner? Suddenly a fierce wind blows against the side of the castle, sending the window rattling in its frame, a shiver down your spine. Perhaps it might be safer if you spent the night here instead. I don't like the idea of you going outside, and I have a guest bedroom that you could use. I'll keep watch for signs of this entity. Oh, thank you, Alexander. To be honest, I don't like the idea of me going outside either. I won't let any harm come to you, Lila. His expression softens as he looks at you in equal parts protectiveness and amusement. Now, if you follow me, I can take you to your room. I bet, with just a little effort, I can get him to open back up again. He's so intriguing, and I want to know more. I like his suit. appreciate the offer, but I'm not tired yet. I'd like to stay up with you, if it's all right. This time the smirk on his face is more apparent, or is it simply a smile? I would not have anticipated a human would want to stay late with a vampire, but yes, it's quite all right with me. In that case, could you give me a tour? I've never been in an actual castle before. Then allow me to be your first. A delicious shiver passes through you at the suggestion in his tone, and you find yourself nearly rushing to keep up as he leaves the dining room. He guides you through the first few floors, sitting room, parlor, receiving room, without even much enthusiasm, but pauses in the hallway between two opposing doors. The library is on your left, the drawing room is on your right. Both are quite special to me. Oh, in that case, please show me the library. You gape as you enter a grand library 2 stories tall, shelves packed with books from floor to ceiling. Have you read all these? Each and every one. Lots of human hoard riches, but these are my personal treasures. The affection in his voice as you turn to him in surprise. So, that's something you really love to do? Read? Certainly. When time is no longer a finite resource, escaping into the imaginations of others helps to pass what is otherwise an eternity of mundanity. He lets you peruse the shelves in silence for a few minutes, while you track down the oldest-looking books you can find. Robinson Crusoe. Wow, that's a real classic. This looks like a pretty old edition, too. Was it hard to get your hands on it? Not at all. I went to the booksellers when I heard talk of it around town, and I purchased it days after its release. Days after, but this is the 1917 first edition. With an enigmatic smile, he leads you back into the hallway. You eventually come across an open door, and you get a glimpse inside. Whoa, this looks dated, too. Abruptly, Alexander pulls the door closed. What's the deal with that room? Is it yours? But he doesn't answer, his hand still on the doorknob, gazing at the door like he's somewhere far away. I can't imagine what it would be like to have centuries of memories always in my head. You place a hand on his arm, feeling the chill of his skin through the fabric of his coat, and try to lighten the mood. Alexander, a secret about that bedroom, huh? Noted. I guess you're hiding all sorts of salacious things in here, aren't you? He furrows his eyebrows, looking at you with a nonplussed expression. What sort of things do you imagine that to be? I don't know, kinky stuff, chest full of old butler costumes for when you're really feeling spicy. He lets out a quiet chuckle, shaking his head and seeming to relax. The vocabulary of this era never ceases to amuse me. Or you just find me incredibly funny? He doesn't deny it, but for his long, steady look doesn't exactly feel like a confirmation either. Okay, fine, secret bedroom, not my business, I get it. You pass by him and feel a rush of relief as you hear his quiet footsteps following a few paces behind. So he definitely has some things he isn't ready to share. But who doesn't? At least he didn't try to send me to bed again. You turn the corner and stop in front of the first closed door, looking at him with a grin. How about this one? Another top secret? Hardly. In fact, this one is extremely exciting. He turns the handle and pushes the door in to reveal storage closet. One of many. It's shocking how much junk one can acquire over several lifetimes. Luckily, I have plenty of closets to stuff it in. You can tell he's about to close the door, but something about the moment, his joking tone, his pointed smile as you're stepping into the closet with him. He doesn't move away. The smile fades from his face, replaced by careful intensity. The coolness of his presence wafts over you. What are you doing, Lila? I'm not really sure. Being a little impulsive? A little. His voice is practically a growl. And when you swallow heavily, his eyes drop to your throat, fangs descending. Is he Is he gonna bite me? You know, I mean... Go fear. No. Tilt my neck. You don't know what's gotten into you, but you want it. I want him. I want his teeth in my neck and just hung against my skin. The image of it flashes through your head and it's so ironic. Your knees go weak and your breath comes in short pants as you reveal your jugular. Lila. His voice is low, cold, warning. Everything about it turns you on when you're seconds away from pressing yourself against him when... No. He rushes past you at an inhuman speed and leaves the storage closet. Face a storm. I'm here to protect you. Not... He doesn't finish the sentence, keeping his back turned as he collects himself. After a minute, he turns to face you, eyes red, returning to his usual brown. The tour is over. Allow me to guide you to your room. You're so confused by what just happened, you follow him through the dark, twisting castle halls without speaking. Stepping into the guest bedroom, you expect Alexander to leave you, but he stands in the doorway watching you intensely. This is a nice room. It's very pretty. Good night, Lila. You wonder if he can hear your elevated heart rate, smell your thumping blood, energy crackles between the two of you. Wish him sweet dreams. As though magnetically drawn to him, you close the distance and coolness upon on your overheated skin. You feel him still as he leans close enough to brush your lips against his ear, dropping your voice to a low, sultry register. Dream of me tonight, Alexander. He looks dazed as you step back and manage to gruffly clear his throat. Excuse me. He closes the door and you listen for some footsteps as he leaves, but they're too soft for your human hearing. As you lie alone in bed, you find yourself growing more and more restless, tossing, turning, as sleep grows ever more elusive. Oh, is this what it's like to be a vampire? Endless awakeness? No, they get to nap in their coffin. Suddenly the room pulses with a deep darkness. You bolt upright. You're not sure, but the air feels heavier. Hello? It could have been a shadow passing over the moon, but after everything that's happened, you can't help being paranoid. And then, as you look around the room, you see a pair of eyes glowing in the corner. A whisper fills your ears. I'm coming for you, love. No. But when you blink, the shadowy figure is gone, as though it was never there in the first place. The question is, was it? Wasn't too bad. I'll give you points. Anyway, without further ado, thanks for watching. You know what to do. Please show your support. Otherwise, check out the pinned comment, as well as there should be a thing popping up here. Also, let me know. I've changed things up with how I sound and whatnot. Let me know if, did you guys enjoy it? Is it the same to you? The whole 9 yards. I try and make it the same, but I also try and remove any and all noises and everything, and I just want you guys to focus on the game, sounds, and music, and then just my reading. That's it. That's all I want you guys to be able to take in, you know, and kind of get immersed in the book. Other than that, thank you again for watching. Love your beautiful faces. Catch you all later. Peace out.